Now that I've explained the past in my previous video, allow me to tell you about the current situation for Palestinians when it comes to traveling. Let's start with the travel documents, or wathiqa. After the wars of 1948 and 1967, some Palestinians had to flee the land to bordering countries, including Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, Egypt, and Iraq. Those Palestinians got travel documents from each of the countries they fled to. They weren't given passports because of the hope or expectation that they would one day return. The wathiqa was supposed to make their lives easier, but instead, it made it hard in terms of living, working, and traveling, because a lot of countries don't recognize the documents as, well, anything. And even the countries they got the travel documents from don't let them enter easily again if they go abroad. Moving on to Palestinians with Jordanian passports. Those who stayed in the West Bank got a permanent Jordanian passport after they announced the unity of both the West Bank and Jordan. But after they split again, Jordan started issuing them temporary Jordanian passports, meaning a passport without an ID number, meaning they don't get the same rights as those with the permanent passport. Now the Palestinian passport. The Palestinian passport existed after the Oslo Accords, and they're given to those in Gaza, the West Bank, and some of those living in East Jerusalem, but it's considered one of the weakest passports in the world. Let's move on to the IDs. If you're a Palestinian, it doesn't mean you can enter Palestine. You have to have a Palestinian ID with an ID number, which means that all those carrying a travel document or wathiqa are forbidden from entering their own land. So Palestinians with a Jordanian passport can only enter if they have an ID, and they are given a very hard time at the border. Even those who carry a Palestinian ID can't easily travel within Palestine. The Palestinians living in the occupied territories and Jerusalem carry an Israeli ID, which means they can travel within Palestine to a certain extent. Otherwise, those living in the West Bank have a green ID or Palestinian ID, meaning they can't go anywhere in the occupied territories or Jerusalem unless they manage to get a permit, and they still have to go through all the checkpoints. And need I mention, permits are not easy to get. Those living in Gaza carry a green card, and most of them have the Palestinian passport and Egyptian travel documents from when Egypt was governing the land. But remember, getting out of Gaza is almost impossible because of the Israeli blockade and the closing of the Palestinian-Egyptian borders. The Israeli passport. Palestinians who stayed in the occupied territories were forced to become Israeli. They're allowed to travel to many countries, but not allowed to travel to most Arab countries. However, those of us who got lucky and managed to get other passports like Canadian, Australian, American, European, etc. can easily go to Palestine and occupy Palestine and so many other countries. But need I remind you, there are millions of other Palestinians who don't get that luxury. Another thing you should probably know about other passports is that if you are young and your name is Arabic, they will still give you a hard time at the border. But I'll get into that in a later video. So there you have it. Stolen land, illegal settlements, and banned from entering your own home.